All right, I promised you a rock star. This young man here, and I do call him young man because he's a few years younger than me. He knows his ship when it talks about, local issues. We've got an election. I said ship, guys. Come on, keep it together, right? Mr. Salmon, what's on the ballot agenda? What are we looking at here if things go one way or another this coming fall?
Yeah, I mean, I hate to beat a dead horse. We've talked about this a little bit, but certainly Measure In is at the forefront of a lot of discussions right now with local politics. And so there's a lot of misinformation and a lot of bickering throughout our community. It just reminds me of the nation right now. Everybody's so divided, polar opposites, extreme views, and it's frustrating.
Morrison, you've got an insight to your to the man sitting next to you, right?
Just a tiny bit. He is my dad, and
Okay.
it's great to be sitting here. I'm used to watching it on social media, his Instagram of you guys talking, so it's great to be here in person and be able to hear what's going on in our lovely Lake Tahoe here.
You've talked about some of the issues with your dad. He knows them cold, right? But what are some of the questions you would ask your dad for our viewers that maybe aren't familiar with really what's at stake?
Well, I guess as you talked about misinformation of just, Measure In, what sources would you suggest for a young person like myself to better understand the issues that are happening in?
Well, for example, like the latest letter that they put out, the proponents for the vacancy tax is you're just pushing that big money is behind this again, and they have the grassroots side of things, and that the National Association of Realtors, and this hits home because I'm a real estate agent, and they just talk about the amount of money that's spent, not really recognizing where that money's coming from, and that those are actually coming from individual agents at the tune of like 50 cents per agent across the state of California, helping causes like this, and how much money actually comes from the National Association of Realtors and CAR, the California side, towards housing. And it's not just property rights, even though that's something important to us, but it's also housing as well.
Right.
And we fund a lot of that to help. But it has to be a balanced approach. That's all we're saying.
Help me here with some of the backlash, right? You mentioned you happen to be a real estate agent. When I met you, when we first started working together, I was at Kirkwood. You were at DIY out in Myers, right?
Yeah.
You worked your way up. You've earned what you have today.
Yeah, it's a good point, Pete. It was Supply One, often referred to as Supply None.
Right.
It was a tough place to work, and yeah, it was a school of hard knocks. And I didn't finish college. I came up here to be a snow bum, and so I had to grind and come up that way. And so it hits home when I hear people come to this town and think that things are going to be handed to them, either good wages or housing, and that's just not the case.
Right.
We have a finite supply in a world-class destination, and you can't just assume you're going to be given that. And I don't think it's fair that someone else should pay for it for you. You got to work for it.
Okay, so a good message, obviously a good role model for Dad, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Not just, obviously, that's been told to me for a while, not just with this issue, but
Just a
just
few
in life
times?
in general, as he coached me in soccer as well, of just when you work hard and you push yourself, you're gonna, see the results that you want, but you can't just expect them to happen. You have to put in some sort of effort.
You're vested in this community. You've raised kids here. You've volunteered time to be coach for a very successful soccer program. A lot of young women here, a lot of them look up to you, including my daughter. With this election at stake, people want more information. What's the best resource? How do they get a hold of you?
Yeah, I would say rather than go to my website, which is pretty real estate specific, call me, pick up the phone. You want to talk about it, I'd love to hear your thoughts and ideas and just respond in a peaceful manner and just provide the other side of the argument. So 530-318-7637.
I know we're a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but he knows the issues that he's talking about, and he's not afraid, if you have an opposing view, to hear you out, right? I've had him come in here many times and talk about both sides of the issue. So if you get a chance, give Mark a call, invest some time in some of the issues that affect our future here in this Tahoe community.